All right, now let's turn to government censorship. What's going on with this government censorship?
Two attorney generals brought a case against the censorship by the White House. One of the things that it says in this lawsuit is that I was the first one that was censored by the Biden White House. Biden came in on January 21st, 2021. On the 23rd, White House officials contacted Facebook and asked them to take my account down. And I lost my Instagram account, which is part of Facebook, 3 weeks later, 900,000 followers. There was no misinformation on that account. Every posting that I made was cited to a peer-reviewed publication or a government database. They had to invent a new word called malinformation. Malinformation is, and this is in the judge's decision, is information that is factually correct, but it is inconvenient or disapproved by the government. Many of the things that they were censoring were things that had nothing to do with COVID. They were censoring Hunter Biden's laptop. At one point, they were asked to censor a parody of the president.
If elected president, what do you do or not do about any of these things?
I will immediately, the first day in office, order an end to all attempts by federal agents and federal agencies to censor the speech of Americans. Political speech shouldn't be censored. The government should not be able to propagandize the American people. That was the law until 2016, and that needs to be withdrawn. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now.
Is fear itself the biggest issue facing America right now?
I don't know if it's the biggest issue, but it has become weaponized by elements within the technocracy and in the corporate kleptocracy to engineer compliance of Americans with things that most people would not put up with under normal circumstances. It's like Americans know innately that the government is not supposed to censor us, and yet we put up with it. It's been recognized forever that fear is a governing tool, particularly for totalitarian elements. If you manipulate them with fear, people will choose security over constitutional rights. Franklin Roosevelt said to people, the biggest fear is fear itself. If we allow ourselves to be manipulated by fear, we will lose everything that we value.
Do you ever get scared that these government agencies, these pharmaceutical companies, are going to try to physically harm you or the people that you care about?
I don't get scared about it. And I don't worry about it, but I'm aware of that danger. I feel like this is my country and I have a duty to fight that kind of stuff. There was a generation in this country in 1776 that put their lives on the line. A lot of them died and put their fortunes on the line and their property and their reputations, their livelihood, in order to give us the constitutional rights that we now take for granted. And in 1 year, we saw so many of those constitutional rights just eviscerated, and we have to be willing to make the same kind of sacrifices they did. There's a lot worse things to me than dying, and one of those is having my kids grow up in America where they do not have the constitutional rights that I grew up with. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now. We're seeing this merger of state and corporate power where the companies and industries that are being regulated are capturing the agencies that are supposed to regulate them and basically turning them into predatory organisms against the American people and instruments for essentially strip mining our assets, for commoditizing our people, for selling poisonous products and making a lot of money on it. And that's happening in all of the agencies. USDA, the Department of Agriculture, agribusiness has weaponized that agency to destroy the small farmer and destroy good food in this country. Cargill and Monsanto and Bo Pilgrim and Frank Perdue and John Tyson are running that agency, and they're not running it for the benefit of the American people. FDA gets 50% of its budget from pharmaceutical companies. NIH and NIH individual scientists are allowed to collect royalties, pharmaceutical products that they regulated and developed. The regulatory function has been subsumed by the mercantile ambitions of the agency itself and individuals who are supposed to be protecting us. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now. One of the principal themes of my campaign is ending the corrupt merger of state and corporate power, which has turned many of the regulatory agencies into predators against the American public and against the principles of our country. I'll just give you a quick example. The USDA was created to foster and protect family farmers in this country and to protect the integrity of our food supply. The USDA is now the instrument for the monopoly takeover of American farming by these large corporations. It's a threat not only to the middle class, to our food supply, our food safety, but also ultimately democracy. How do you unravel corporate capture at these agencies? I know how to do it. I know how to reorganize those agencies to end the revolving doors, to end these financial entanglements with the industries they're supposed to regulate. And in many cases, I know the specific individuals in those agencies who need to be moved out. And that's why I'm in better shape than anybody else to get the kind of reforms that the American people want. If you like this video and you want to help me become President of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now.